G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode. Now with that said, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the barbie, and let's get right into it. I'm leaving my husband because I found out that he has been making fun of me behind my back to his ex. So my husband, male 45, and I, female 36, met about 6 years ago. We've been married for 1 year. When we met, I was very fit and athletic. I started gaining weight, however, after suffering 2 miscarriages and the loss of my mother to cancer. I was very depressed and barely got out of bed, if not to go to work. I stopped exercising and instead started eating junk food. I gained 40 pounds in 2 years, 2019 to 2020. During this time, my husband, then fiancé, was very supportive and loving. I felt guilty, and I tried to give him an out several times, but instead, he proposed and we got married last summer. Since our marriage, I've been feeling much better, and it showed. I have lost around 20 pounds so far, and I gained back my muscles and abs. He was so happy to see me feeling better. On his computer, however, it was a totally different story. He was talking, almost during our entire relationship, to his ex-wife about me. His ex-wife, female 46, left him about 7 to 8 years ago for her colleague. The relationship didn't work out, however, and she tried to get back together with my husband. He had already met me, but they stayed friends, mostly via chat, texting, since she lives 12 hours away. My husband was complaining about everything about me, my job, my depression, my cooking, but mostly about my weight. He was telling her how disgusting I was to him, how he even found it hard to share the same bed since I snored like a dog. He sent her pictures of me while sleeping, sometimes in underwear with comments about my belly, double chin, back boobs, etc. She found these pictures extremely amusing, and she came up with the name White Whale. They both found it hilarious, and now this is what they referred to me as. They don't flirt exactly, or talk about being together or starting an affair, but they do say that they miss each other, and they reminisce about the time that they were married. She's more flirtatious, and he really enjoys it. Whatever he's telling her isn't what I have experienced with him. I don't disgust him, and he tells me that he loves me all the time. We have great and passionate sex, and the way he touches and makes love to me is so great. Like, he must be a really good actor if he was in reality disgusted by me. And he hates the few times we have to sleep apart. He's lying, and I don't know why he's doing it. He's lying to one of us, and I'm not sure if I want to know who he's lying to and why. I decided to get out of this marriage and leave this behind me. Right now, I'm acting like everything is normal, but I've started looking at a new job in another city and a place to rent. I also started with birth control pills in case something happens between us, and I've talked to a lawyer to prepare the divorce and start the process once I'm gone. One thing I'm not going to do is fall back into depression and weight gain. I will not allow it. What a waste of love he has been. Edit, I can't believe I need to explain this about the birth control pills. Very simple explanation. Up until I went through his messenger, I loved and trusted this guy. We had a great sex life and we were trying to conceive. When I read what he had written and the way that he took pictures of me sleeping, something happened inside of me like, I don't know this person in front of me anymore. I can't read his face and I don't trust him. I don't know how long I'm going to need to stay under the same roof as him. I don't know what his reaction would be if I refused him under a long period of time with no real excuse. I don't know what else he's capable of besides taking pictures of sleeping people. I don't know if I, in a moment of weakness, succumb to lust, or if he for a moment could fool me that he actually loved me. For all these reasons, and many darker scenarios I've played in my head, I'm taking extra precautions. Anyone with an IQ of a chicken, or self-awareness of a dead chicken, could understand that, or so I hope. Thank you everyone for the support. I will update you when I know more about where I'm headed. I mean, we all get the ick sometimes, don't we? But that is just, wow. This is just evil, isn't it? This just feels terrible to read. I admire OP for being so strong and so decisive in their actions for this. It's definitely the right thing to do. It's what you need to do in these situations. Be vigilant, have your guard up, and escape this abusive situation as fast as possible and as safely as possible. And I'm also in agreement with them here that you cannot trust him, because damn, those are two completely polar opposite personalities. Scary stuff. And now in the comments, I'm proud of you for leaving. Stick to your plan and be done with him. I can't even fathom the gut-punching reading White Whale was. Definitely make sure to screenshot and print out the conversations for when you make your exit. Block him, block his family if need be, because you never know what kind of crazy story he could make up, and most importantly, take care of yourself. We are rooting for you. And OP replies, "It was this pic of me with my belly hanging out while sleeping on my side that earned me the nickname White Whale. Sharing a photo of someone who you did not get permission for, let alone taking the photo, is a huge violation. I'm sorry he's such an ass. I applaud your resolve and plans. He doesn't deserve you." Well, at least he's giving you a quick way to lose some dead weight. What an effing asshole. You will be much better off without him. Right? She's about to excise a 160-pound plus malignant tumor. That's living well all by itself. I don't know why, but it never ceases to amaze me how quietly cruel spouses can be behind the other's back. Good luck, OP. You are smart and deserve a much better life. Go get it. I'm so happy that you have the fight in you. He needs to go play his weird messed up games with his wretched ex. I'm not, and I will never be that thin. I knew that I was with one of the good ones when I was over at my boyfriend's, and he thought that I was asleep, but I got up to use the bathroom and overheard him talking to his friends online while they were playing Halo in his living room, and he said something along the lines of, "No, she's not that thin at all, actually. Why?" And I think to myself, oh, here we go, when he straightens up and goes, "What? No, actually, it's great. She's so great to cuddle with. She's always super warm and I'm always freezing. And when we go out, she actually wants to eat real food. Plus her boobs, man. They're huge. Skinny girls don't get boobs like that. I know they're real." At that point, I walked over and gave him a kiss, and he was super embarrassed that I'd overheard him. Someone else says, "I would suggest printing out the emails, and then leave them on the kitchen counter with your house keys and wedding band when you leave. Leave while he's not there. If that's how he wants to behave, let him see that you left him because of it." And OP replies, "I will probably do that, yeah. I don't want to confront him now while I'm still living with him, but once I'm out, it's probably the easiest way to explain why. Print his conversations and hand it to him." And now, onto the update. I have now left my husband and served him with the papers. White Whale out. Hi again. I don't know how to make an update, but my original post is in my profile. But I'm feeling happy, so happy for the first time in weeks, and I wanted to share with you since many of you supported me and requested an update. I thought that it would be the decent thing to do. So here goes nothing. I didn't pry or spy on my husband. I used his MacBook to do some work, and he had forgotten to log out from Facebook and Messenger. He has never given me any reason to spy on him. After I found out, however, I would occasionally check his phone, maybe hoping that it was all a bad joke. He continued complaining anyhow, and now he was telling her that I was being distant and cold in manner, and that he was tired of me. He even lied and told her that I was gaining even more weight, even though I'm not. He told her that we weren't having sex. I avoided him because he couldn't find it under the rolls of fat, a joke that she highly appreciated. I didn't spy after that. I got the confirmation I needed. In the meantime, he acted the worried husband with me, concerned about me, and asking if I was going through a new depression. He told me he loved me and that he was there for me. He did everything like the previous times that I had dips. Called from work, came home with takeouts from my favorite restaurants, did all the cleaning and washing around the house, baked fresh breads in the mornings, flowers and chocolates, and asked me if I wanted to go for nighttime drives and walks. He used to take me for a drive the nights that I was feeling very down and depressed. Like, how can anyone be so two-faced? I have my big sister who lives in another city. I told her that I was leaving my husband and that I was looking for jobs in her city. My sister is married, and she lives with her husband and daughter in a big house. She offered me one of her spare bedrooms. I got a few job interviews, and one of them turned into an offer. It's not exactly my field of work, and it came with a significant decrease in salary. But I thought about it, and it's a good start until something more suitable comes up. I didn't want to prolong my stay with him any longer, and a decrease in income is a good sacrifice. Plus, I'm going to have lower rent, and I'm selling my car since the new job is in walking distance from my sister's house. No more worry about the crazy gas prices. My new job starts on October 1st. I'm working my notice period from my computer. The 2 month between jobs, I'm just gonna have fun and work on myself. I took my name off the lease, but I'm going to pay 2 more months. I left him last Sunday. The night before, I prepared a very nice dinner and I screwed his brains out all night. It felt so good to hear him whispering how much he loved me and how lucky he was to have me. In the morning, I left the divorce papers and my attorney's number in the kitchen. When I got to my sister, I finally could tell her and the rest of my family about everything. I showed them all the conversations and even the pictures that he'd taken of me. They are all pissed with him. He has been calling me and texting me obsessively, but he doesn't know where I live now. He went to my parents, but they just shunned him at the door and advised him to let me go. Maybe he knows now because he's been asking to explain and apologize, etc. I don't care. All I've texted back is that if he wants to convey a message, he could do it through my lawyer. Edit, my parents were divorced and both remarried. Mum passed away almost 3 years ago. He went to Dad's house looking for me. Dad lives there with my stepmom and 2 of my sisters. And now in the comments, this is the update that I'm waiting for. I feel glad for you. And OP replies, thank you. It feels like a big weight is lifted off my chest when I finally left our apartment. Best update I've read in a while. Such a satisfying conclusion to an otherwise horrific situation. Imagine being such a loser that you feel the need to validate your cheating ex-wife by saying despicable things about your current not cheating wife. Dude's a chump. You're better off, OP, and I'm rooting for you. Congrats on putting yourself first, having self-respect, and ending things when appropriate. I wish more people were like you, although if they were, we'd have fewer entertaining stories to read on this site. Info. Did you ever tell him why? And will you? And OP replies, I don't know. He will know for sure if he hasn't already found out because I've told my family what he did and someone will probably tell him. But I have no plans on telling him myself or hearing his reasons. I don't know if I'm strong enough to face it. You're very strong to do what you have done and with such grace. Good luck in the start of what comes next. This internet stranger thinks you're amazing. What a moron. X leaves him for someone else and he throws what he has now away to make the ex giggle. Thankfully, OP got on the computer that day and found out what was really going on. Yup, destroying the new relationship is what brings joy to malicious, abusive exes. What a stupid clown. I hope his now ex-wife finds someone who treats her right. And you know that he told his previous ex-wife and she was like, "Aw, damn. Well, this has been fun. Bye." And that's the horrible thing about this. OP is probably going to find it almost impossible to trust anyone new. People who love endlessly despite all the hurt are the reason there is light. Do not let anyone try to diminish how big your heart is. It's important that you continue to love. This would absolutely destroy me in every conceivable way if my husband did this. God, imagine what he would say if she did get pregnant. Our next post is titled, My fiancé almost died in a car accident. That's when my mother-in-law told me he cheated on me with an ex. Now he's recovering well. I feel so guilty for wanting to end it. I feel like a horrible person. We're supposed to get married on August 20th in a small ceremony. I, female 33, have been with my fiancé, male 34, for 6 years, engaged for 1. The best years of my life. He's brilliant in every way, or so I thought. The accident happened 6 weeks ago. A drunk driver hit my fiancé's car. I spent the worst night of my life in the hospital waiting for answers from the doctors, and he went through hours and hours of surgery. His parents and brothers were also there waiting. I've always loved his family, and they me. His mum is, or was, one of my favorite people, and we got along very well. She was happy to have me as her first daughter-in-law. She's very religious, and when my fiancé was hovering between life and death, she was worried about his sins, so she told me that he cheated on me about 2 months ago with an ex that he bumped into. She explained that it was because of the wedding and the stress of planning it. Apparently, I've been both stressed out and stressing him out. He had a weak moment. It was a one-time thing, and he regretted it so much. He asked his parents for advice on what to do, and they told him not to say anything. As long as he's remorseful, and as long as it was me that he wanted, he should forget about what he did and move on. His whole family knew. After the hospital, he moved back to his parents' house because we live in a flat without lifts. I visit him every day. I haven't told him that I know, and his family is acting like nothing has changed. They are very happy that he's doing better, and understandably so, and my presence by his side is very helpful according to him and his family. Now both fiancé and his parents are talking about us being able to get married on the day we said, after all. I feel awful because I don't want that. Our relationship was over the moment I found out about the cheating. I stayed because I loved, and still do, him, and I wanted him to feel better. I couldn't break his heart while he's recovering. I also thought the wedding was postponed, and that we would have more time for him to fully recover, and be strong and independent again, so I could leave with clear conscience. I tried to speak to his mum today, but she just started hyperventilating and kept telling me not to do this. She made a mistake by telling me that I shouldn't take advantage of what she said in desperation to punish him and kill his spirit. He's still recovering and he needs me. I've been thinking since my talk with his mum about everything, and I'm so angry at him. I'm ashamed that even when I was worried about his life, I was very angry and resentful. We were supposed to have our wedding in this beautiful manor house that he found that's all-inclusive, with our most important people. My best friend is a DJ, and my parents paid for the whole thing, even though they are much poorer. So I don't know where the stress has come from. We fixed everything in a week. I am so angry, and I've kept bottling it up since the accident. I'm afraid I'm going to explode soon. I completely understand where you're coming from here, OP. That doesn't change my opinion of the situation, where I think you need to get your ass the hell away from him and his family. He's a good man. He's a very loving man. He only cheated on you once in a moment of weakness and then regretted it and then buried it completely and never was going to tell you. And also our whole family is in on it and we were never going to tell you either. But I told you in a moment of weakness. No. Stop with the mental gymnastics. Stop right there. Look at me. I've got a basket right here. It's the basket of assholes. Every single one of you get inside. What a terrible, enabling family to want to marry into. Thank God she gave you that out. I don't even want to imagine what would happen in the future if you gave them this inch. How many miles they would take from you. That's never, ever going to be worth it. Thank God she did this for you. And now in the comments, quote, "So I don't even know where the stress has come from." That's because there was no stress. It was just a lame excuse he gave to his parents, and they bought it hook, line, and sinker, and are now making you out to be the bad guy. They are a manipulative bunch, and you will be well rid of them. I was thinking that. The mum literally thought her son was going to die with the cheating on his conscience, so she told OP, probably hoping OP would be so worried that she would just forgive him. I really think her motivation was religious, like the guy was gonna die, get to the pearly gates, and be denied entry because of the cheating. But if mum could convince the girlfriend to forgive him, then St. Peter couldn't have much else to say, right? I really think mum was trying to do his final confession for him, so he would have a squeaky clean soul when he reached heaven. Ah, the age-old ask for forgiveness, not permission. Right. If her motivation was religious, then the mum telling the fiancé has absolutely no effect at all. Me telling you about someone else's sin is merely gossip. One can't ask for absolution for another. The sinner has to request absolution from a priest, and the priest give it. Think last rites in this case. The mum even requesting it from a priest would do nothing. The son would have to tell the priest himself, then let's get to the fiancé not being capable of giving absolution anyway. The entire motivation on the part of the mum is complete BS. This was the mum really feeling guilty for her part in this secret and under the stress of watching her son about to die, confessing her own guilty conscience to the fiancé. Nothing more. Now with her son alive and recovering, she doesn't want him to know that she's blown up his impending marriage. And OP replies, she wanted me to forgive him in case he passed on. She probably felt extremely guilty for keeping it a secret because you were showing how much you loved him when his life was in jeopardy. I'm glad you're a strong person and you know your worth. Even if the situation overall was horrible, it's better to know now what type of people you were about to commit yourself to. No. She was just worried about him going to hell, so she wanted her to forgive him. Lamau? Well, at least you found out how he handles stress ahead of time. I read this expecting to see you ask him and find out that it was a lie. And OP says, I know, right? Tell your parents what's going on right away so they can cancel the venues and get refunds on as much money as possible. You should also tell them so that they can support you when the in-laws pressure you to just forget and get married. His mum's pretty damn selfish as well, making it all about her with that hyperventilating BS. Oh please, they all betrayed you. None of them have your back. Not him, not his dad, and especially not his mum. They all decided that it was best for him to lie to you and didn't think it mattered to give you the chance and decide for yourself. What pieces of scum these people are. An accident doesn't change that. You were far too kind. I'd never walk back into that house again. Not into a house full of people who would lie and scheme behind my back. None of them love you. And now, onto the update. I told my fiancé that I know about his infidelity and cancelled the wedding. He still wants a second chance. So I've written here 3 days ago before I talked to my fiancé. This is after I told him that I know about his cheating. I started by telling my parents, who were paying for the wedding, about what happened, and that I'm cancelling the wedding. Hopefully they can get back some of what they paid via their home insurance. I have told them that I'm going to pay the rest of the damages. My dad refused, but I insisted. It's not up to them. Since my fiancé still lives with his parents, I felt that I would be outnumbered if I went alone to end it. Text or call wasn't an option, since he meant a lot more to me than that, and I really wanted to see his face and ask, "What the hell, man? How could you do this to me after everything I've done for you?" I also wanted him to see my hurt. I don't want it to be comfortable for him. Cheaters must see the hurt they cause and hopefully learn from it. I took my mum with me. When I told him that the wedding was off and the reason why, he started crying. He told me all things they say in desperation. He was foolish, he didn't think, he was stressed out, he was scared, it meant nothing, he regretted it, he didn't want to tell me because it meant nothing and he didn't want to hurt me. I should give him a chance to prove himself and his loyalty. He can ask his parents to pay for the wedding. We can postpone the wedding indefinitely. I can take the apartment and he will live with his parents. Anything, as long as it takes for me to forgive him. I haven't cried as much as I did when I was listening to his bullcrap, and afterwards on my way home. How could he do this to me? He didn't give me a satisfying answer to why he did this to me. To us. I've cried myself to sleep every night since the accident, and yet I cry like I've just found out. I'm going to stay at the apartment that we bought together, and he will stay with his parents. Prices have gone down these last couple of months, and we both agreed that we don't want to sell for less than what we paid. But the moment it goes up again, we are selling. I've started packing his things now, and tomorrow I'm renting a van to move his things to his parents' house. Sorting out his stuff and packing his clothes made it real for me. I didn't expect it to be so emotional. Like, why do I still love him so much? He has been texting me, and he's called me twice, and we talked mostly about mundane stuff, but also about us and our relationship. His mum has called me to say that she felt guilty for first not advising him to come clean, but even for later divulging his secret to me without his permission. She was disappointed that I took advantage of her moment of panic, but that she understands that I'm hurt. She said he will do his best to win me back. I'm a bit irritated about the fact that none of them, including my parents, believe that it is really over, and I don't have the energy to prove my point either. I just need some alone time now, and some peace and quiet. And yeah, you deserve some alone time and peace and quiet. This man deserves nothing. His family deserves even less than nothing for that. From my point of view, there is no universe where he wins you back. The only thing he can do is apologize and leave. I would be very surprised if you, after all of this, ever took him back, even gave him a slight chance of taking him back, even stay in contact with this person. I too would also be irritated by the fact that even your parents don't believe that it's really over. How do you not all see the writing on the wall? Have they poisoned the well? Have they got to you before me so they can spin their little web of lies? Am I taking crazy pills? Take that alone time, OP, recover, and come back better than everyone else in this story, Jesus. And now in the comments, as many have said, you should not get back with him, but I will add something about this. Quote, he didn't give me a satisfying answer as to why he did this to me. Unfortunately, there is never a satisfying answer. No matter what his reasoning is, you will always find yourself thinking, but if he loved me, he would not have done this to me. Most satisfying answer, I never loved you. I would always have done this to you. I hope that makes you feel better. That's because you are not a cheater. A great piece of advice that I once read is that it's not healthy to dwell on the why someone hurt you. If you cannot understand why someone would hurt you in that way, it's because you are not like them, and that should be your closure. This is fantastic advice, and it can turn a few months or years of searching for the answer into moving on and up with my own life. Bravo. If his mum calls again, do not answer. She is not responsible for this situation, her son is, and she needs to butt out of it. Plus, she continues to make OP the bad guy and has no good intentions when reaching out to her. Exactly. Stop engaging with his mum. He is the cheater. OP did nothing wrong, and the fact that the mum is berating her for dumping a cheater just because the information was given in a moment of weakness, i.e. guilt, she does not need to ignore it. Not to mention the mother was one of the people who encouraged him to lie to OP. She sucks. You know what I do when I'm stressed? I overeat a bit, maybe spend a little more than I should online shopping, color my hair. I don't somehow find myself naked with an ex while my significant other sits at home. Seriously, like, when I'm stressed, I like to shop or clean the house. I feel like cheating on the person you're about to marry with some random ex would make things more stressful. I can't believe the reasoning was that he was stressed because of the wedding. Imagine what he would do when something actually stressful happens. Not that stress is a valid excuse at all. The mother-in-law 100% enables all of his behavior. You could easily see this whole situation repeating, especially if OP got pregnant, the stress of the baby and all that. Or if the OP got seriously ill, that's very stressful too. He's going to end up cheating all over the place because of his stress. Exactly. At the end of the day, it's just an excuse that he used to justify his awful behavior without really taking any accountability for it. He was upset he got caught and paid consequences, not that he actually cheated. I also have to wonder how he treats women in general if having sex with a woman doesn't matter. What about his ex's feelings? And I doubt he ran into her. That meetup was planned. I also doubt that this was the first and only time that he cheated. Best quote about cheating? Is it supposed to make me feel better that you betrayed me for nothing? Also, all the promises and whatever it takes. You're willing to put in all this effort when all you had to do was say no. Just ran into her. That is always a lie. Conveniences like that are always a lie. It's like when my buddy found out his roommate was messing around with a girl that he was seeing, but the dude insisted I never had sex with her. It's just something they throw in to try and take it away from being completely unforgivable. FYI, both of these instances are completely unforgivable anyway, in my opinion. And that's where I'm going to leave this one for today, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, thank you. I really appreciate that. And I hope you have a good day. Thumbs up, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.